Welcome to Construction Champions Podcast, where we are burning the house down and rebuilding it twice a week. I'm your host, Nussbaum, and I am here to help you become the champion that you're meant to be. Along with our amazing guests along the way, we will provide you with the resources, the latest and greatest. You will sit down with disruptors in the construction industry. And my goal from day one has always been to change the mindset around the construction industry. No more where we let the 3% of bad apes dictate the entire reputation of. All right, construction champions, we're back for another amazing episode of Construction Champions Podcast. Hit that like, subscribe button. Like I said on the last episode, I really don't care what button you hit. Just hit one of them because it helps us all out. It helps the show. If you really want to be an outlier, leave a comment. Ask a question. But as always, we are here to talk about what makes a construction champion. You guys aren't here for Nussbaum. You're here for our amazing guests. And today we have a returning guest, which is always super exciting. Nicole, it is fantastic to have you back on the show today.
Always fun to be here. Thank you for having me. And thanks for just chatting it up with me today.
There we go. Well, before we get started, why don't you reintroduce yourself to all of our listeners and anybody that doesn't know who you are?
Yeah. So I'm Nicole Glover, and I own Glover Strategic Marketing. We work with 8- and 9-figure construction and manufacturing companies to double your revenue. So we work with everything that touches your customer and help you work in your business so that you can double your revenue and continue doubling your revenue whenever you want to. So you don't have to wait until you need to. You keep having all of the successes over and over again. So it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. We know a lot of people want to double their revenue, so maybe we'll get into some of that here today. I know we have talked about what makes a construction champion before. I went back, I listened to those episodes, and we talked about everything from being the absolute best version of yourself, handling yourself so that you can be the best for your customers, your employees. We talked about partnerships and how important that is to continue and to grow your construction business. What do you got to add to that now? It's been a while since we've talked. What are some of the stuff that's resonating with you right now about being a construction champion?
Is communication chaos holding your construction business back? Emails, texts, and generic tools weren't built for your business. BuilderComms delivers a platform built for construction. Fully branded, custom workflows, and seamless integration, all designed to fix communication for good. From our free forever plan to your own custom solution, we make construction software not suck. Ready to transform your business? Book your free strategy call today.
It may just be the conversations I've had today, but caring, I think being someone that really cares about your business and your customers, that we sometimes think what we say and how we act is different than business. And I don't know where we get that, like who we are, especially as business owners, but anyone that's client facing, if you're talking to a customer, you're that marketing message, who you are, how you approach things. And the companies that really care about their customers, they're the ones that are going to keep winning. And that's how you become a champion, is because you care. And, we all want to make money and be successful. And they don't have to be exclusive between caring. And a lot of times my clients that really just care and want to do the best for their clients, and they may have a small segment of clients, I guess is what I was trying to say. But they're going to do the best they possibly can for those clients, because they're so good at what they do. They can just care and take care of their clients. So, being a champion and caring, I think is huge, and they go hand to hand. And with everything that I do with marketing, caring is right up there with what your messaging is and who you are. And as long as you embrace that and and actually carry it through your entire company, I mean, that's a huge win for everyone. I mean, just you're going to win.
Yeah, I can agree with that. That the construction industry, I believe we care a lot more than we lead on with. Like
I think
we
so too.
we tend to keep that in. How do you get people in the construction industry to get that out, to be okay, to let them care?
Yeah, that's another one that's kind of interesting. There's a lot of ways to answer that. And I think sometimes, okay, obviously I'm a woman, so coming from a female perspective, it's a little bit different. It's okay if I show that I'm caring, but a lot of guys, they almost feel like they have to be this construction persona that's tough and, can get the job done. And, I'll be fair, but I'm a tough guy. I'm going to make sure I'm tough on my guys. They know what's expected. And, but sometimes we're more than that. And it's a little hard. I mean, a lot of times we're more than that, but it can be hard to really decide that, you know what, I'm just going to be a caring person. And you know, I can be caring to my people and my customers and everyone in between. And so, I mean, that's a little scary. But when you really decide that that's who you are, like that's important to you. I mean, like I said, we want to make money, but that's not the only reason why you started a construction company is to make money. Maybe it's to have a better, because you think you can do it better is typically how most people feel. And, they want to be the boss that they wanted to have, So be the boss you wish you had. Be the boss that can be caring and can be hard too when needed, but, you know, just a good person. That's what we typically aim for, right? But if we can be caring and decide that that's, kind of a foundation of the company, and it's our messaging, it's our mission, our vision for who we are as a company, and you can spread that through your entire company, and by either internal messaging, external messaging, every meeting you talk about it and everyone embraces it. It's not just, yeah, my CEO talks about how we care, but like they don't do anything. I said I was sick last week and they said, get your butt into work, like if it's really, we really care, like, hey, we really need you in work today. Like, how sick are you? That could be a different conversation. I wouldn't say that in a normal office place, but if we're in, building and construction, you're probably 6 feet away from someone, right? But, you know, if you're feeling up to it, come to work. If you're not, then we'll figure it out. Being caring and saying that this is something that is important to you, then carry it everywhere. Don't just hold it in tight, hold it to your vest, because then no one's going to know. That doesn't help you with your messaging. It doesn't help you with client retention client acquisition, and it doesn't help you with attracting qualified employees. Whereas if that's really something that's important to you, share it. Make it something that everyone knows is important to your company. So that was me rambling there for a little while.
Well, you touched on something that I just had a conversation with a guy about yesterday. Is like we forget why we start businesses. Whatever it ends up happening, whether it's the chaos or it's the money or whatever it is, along the way we typically forget. And we forget why, like in the case that you referenced, why we walked away and decided to do it on our own. And a lot of times people just turn into that because they forget about it. They forget what was that core reason why we're here.
Yeah. Well, and it's so easy to say, okay, this is what a construction company looks like. So I need to be the owner of that type of company. I need to be this new person. And that's really great if you have decided that you're going to up level yourself. But if you're going to go against who you want to be or why you started your company, then there's a disconnect and you're not going to be as strong. You're not going to be as successful. So if you started your company so that you can do the job better, so that you could be the boss that you wish you had, so that you could fill a hole that was not filled, like there was an opening. Why are you starting the company? Yes, we all want to make money. That's a given, but that's not the only reason. So if you can really embrace why you decided to start the company and decide that you're going to lean into who you really want to be, a lot of times that's actually just kindness and it's taking care of people.
Well, the people are what we have. Every business, once again, another conversation I had yesterday was aimed around people and how do we continue to develop and how do we hire and bring people on. And there's a lot of correlation with what you're talking about in my conversation with him was, for one, you have to be somebody they want to work for. You have to build a company that they want to work for. You just can't be a pit bull in a china shop and hope people are going to stick around longer than a couple weeks.
Mhm. Yeah, raise your hand if you're fully staffed and you can get, or, oh my gosh, clients, customers, whatever I'm trying to say, employees anytime you want. I mean, skilled trades, like we need good people and we need people that know what they're doing. We don't always have the time to train new people up, to teach them to be exactly who we want them to be. So, it's essential to be able to attract the people that you really want. And if you're gonna be a bull in a china shop, they don't if they can go and get a job wherever they want, don't you think they'd rather work at a place that treats them well? They want good money, but they also want to be treated well.
And a lot of times they're willing to have a little bit of sacrifice on the money aspect for quality of life.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, how many times anyone listening, if you're in construction, how many times have you been just livid after leaving a job site? It's someone rubbed you the wrong way. And if that was a regular occurrence, you didn't want to keep being there. If it always seemed like you were always the bad guy, it didn't matter what you did, you couldn't do things right. Well, if you go somewhere else and, your team has your back, your boss has your back, the the frustrating days are not every day, and they can be a little fewer and far between. You'd be willing to have the back of someone else. If you go in knowing that someone's gonna have your back, you you take the right risks. You're not gonna just try and do something because you know it's right if you know you're gonna get screamed at. You're not gonna, like, I want people that feel like they can take the right risks, and do a good job, even if it's not exactly what I told them to do, because they know what they're supposed to do. We all have had bosses at some point. Well, maybe not everyone. A lot of people have had bosses at some point or another who didn't really know the job, but somehow have told you what you're supposed to do, and you still have to do it because that's what your boss told you to do. So, just if you hire people to do a good job, they want to do a good job. But screaming at him never goes well.
Well, you want to set them up for success. Like you want to give them a foundation where they can make decisions that are based off of that foundation and training that you have given them. So we don't just willy-nilly empower people to do whatever they want. We create a foundation, we create a muscle memory, and then we empower them to make decisions once we have gotten them where they need to be at.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not talking day one, I'm talking it's a culture, And, culture isn't my thing, but I do know that if you don't set your culture, it's not that there is no culture. There's a culture. It's just not the culture you want to have. And if there's a culture that is, you're not gonna support your people or stand behind your people, they're not gonna stand behind you, and you're not down one person, you're down every person that continues to leave after that. So that's, you know, attracting qualified employees a lot of times starts with having a company that people want to come to and stay. So, if you're always losing people, look at your culture, see what's going on there. See, if you want to try and attract more people, look at what's going on there. Look at what's happening. What can you do to make people want to stay? And sometimes you're already doing everything. Just tell people what you're doing. Talk to your team about it. I mean, honestly, a lot of what marketing is just sharing the message, crafting the message, making it really good, and then sharing it.
Well, yeah, and you got to have people if you're going to double your revenue every year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's, the book 10x is easier than 2x. Well, it's a little hard when your client or your resource, the thing that you use is people. So, 10xing or even 5xing your employee base can be really difficult. But yeah, so if you're trying to double, we try and find ways to make it so that maybe you don't have to double your workforce as well, because we do also hope that you have more profit in the end, but what can we do to make sure that you are attracting the people so that when you get more work, you have the people to do the work?
Absolutely. So with being your specialty is in revenue generation, what's some of the misconceptions out there? Because I know there's a lot when it comes to generating revenue in the construction space. What
Oh,
are people doing wrong?
oh my gosh. There's so many things we could talk about. I mean, um, social media isn't always the go-to for everyone. Um, the lowest bid doesn't actually always win. We could probably talk about that one for a little bit, because I talk to a lot of people that are convinced that there is absolutely nothing they can do other than lower their price. And there's going to be jobs, no matter what you do, that the only price they'll take is the lowest. I mean, military tends to be that way, but that's not everything always. It's not the rule 100% of the time, you know. And what I do when I look at companies and we're working together and we're trying to figure out ways to get more clients, but even the same clients to purchase with you more often, why do they work with you in the first place? Why do they want to keep coming back to you? What is it that you do that's different or better, or cheaper, better, faster, one of them, or just better? I mean, we're talking about kindness, and sometimes that's all it is. But when we put out a bid, all we put in the bid is the pricing, not any of the other benefits they get with working with you. I've worked with some companies that, aren't always the best at quality or deliverable, like delivering it on time. I'm at a loss on words here. But like they're not always the best at some of those things, but they're really good at some other things. And so as long as they're highlighting the things they're really good at and emphasizing what they're really good at, they can still win jobs. But the companies that are really good at quality, and they're some of my favorite clients, when they're really good at quality, they're really good at taking care of their clients. They're really good at communication. I know someone that is big on communication. As long as, if they're really good at some of these things, that's a huge benefit to your customer. If you're not telling your customers the benefits of working with you and it's just the price, then why would they evaluate you on anything other than price? Is it because you stood in front of them and say, hey, we both golf together? Like, why should they really work with you? It's not just the price. But if you're only giving them the price, what else do they have to judge you against? What else are they going to look at? So, you know, don't complain about it being price if you're only putting price out there, I guess is the big thing I want to get across. You know, talk about some of the other benefits and put them in your contracts. I mean, it's something you're going to deliver on. You're going to do communication. You're going to give them status updates. You're going to do these things. Why wouldn't you have it in your proposal? So I could talk on that for a really long time, but that's definitely one of the many, many things that I work with my clients on. And just updating your proposal to something, and like we can sit down and go through it and put everything in there in a way that your clients would want. But that's huge. Start there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because I mean, how many people are just scribbling some things down and there you go, and they are leading price first, and then they're wondering why everything comes down to price, but they're not highlighting anything. There's no call to action on anything other than just the price that they put out there. That makes 100% sense. And I think a lot of our listeners can probably relate with that. If you're in that situation, what does that look like? Are you honed in on the price so much that you make it the only thing?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so easy. It's so easy to say, they just want to know the price. I just not want to know the price. I mean, I've heard that, so you're like, well, I'll just get you the price, but they also have a few other things and they want a good job most of the time. Sometimes that's not even the case, but what is it they care about? If you can put the things that they care about in the proposal with the price, maybe they would go with you as opposed to someone else who has a similar price. It's really, if you only talk price, well, that's all they're going to talk to you about. That's the only thing, that anyone talks about is price, because that's the only thing anyone talks about.
It is. This is an amazing perspective on this because it's true. Like you hear it so many times over and over is that it's all about price, all about price. Well, if that's what you're hearing on this end, that means you're even talking about price when you're not even talking about price. It has become such a fixation in your mind, and you have to change the mindset around that.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll have these conversations with people and they're like, yeah, and then they'll go with someone else and the other company has all this other rework and they were cheaper, but in the end it costs more. It's like, why don't you tell anyone about this? They mention it off the cuff, but it's not in the proposal. It's not stated in a way that the customer is going to say, oh, see, actually, this is a better deal. This is a better company. I'd rather work with a company that can stand behind. I'd rather work with a company because of yada, yada, yada. It would have been a better way to say that. But, like, why do they want to work with you? It's not just the price.
Yeah.
I'm talking about only the price.
Yeah. And, we used to do price matching, but it was apples to apples. And when somebody came in weighed less and they were like, here, I want you to do it, but I want you to price match what they're willing to do it for half. It's like, well, you have to provide us the quote, and we're sitting down and comparing apples to apples. And most of the time, the reason it was half is because they were doing half the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to clearly explain this stuff. And that's a good quote, a good proposal will do that. It'll clearly explain that stuff. So that if you sit down or if the homeowner sits down and they compare the stuff, apples to apples, they're going to see the differences. They're going to stand out.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not educating your customer in your proposal, then where are they going to have that written down? I mean, not everyone is, I love salespeople, but salespeople are a different bunch than most of your customers. And salespeople are, we like to talk, we like to listen, we learn verbally. We're not, not all of our customers are that way. They want to see it in writing. And it's not even that it's a guarantee. They just want to have it because they're going to be able to reference it and look at it again. If you just say something, well, then you're not going to be able to stand behind it if it's not written. So, there's lots of ways that a proposal helps. And, just speaking to the way they want to be spoken to or learn or review your proposal is just one of them. So, yeah, it's so important. It's so important. But we think of it as, that's price. Maybe I'll put something about my company in there if I, feel like it's going to help them to know which company's giving them the price, So, yeah.
Awesome. I love it. It is always fantastic to have you on the show, Nicole. Today has been no different. So for all the construction champions out there listening, if they wanted to connect with you, follow you, where's the best places for them to do that?
Oh gosh. So I'm getting back to being active on my LinkedIn again. I took a little break again. So you can find me, it's Nicole L. Glover, on LinkedIn, or you could just get me on my website. We'll go with that. So glovermarketing.com. And those are two of the easiest ways. You can direct message me or email me through either of them. And I'd love to hear what all you guys are being challenged with right now, and what I can do to help. Because I want construction companies to succeed. We're building the world, right?
Awesome. I love it. And we'll have that in the show notes for everybody as well, including the LinkedIn. So thank you for taking the time and being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun. Like you said, it's a good conversation.
Awesome. All right, construction champions, another episode in the bag where I want to ask if you're caring. We started the conversation out around a conversation about caring. I know. I've been around this industry 15 years. We're some of the most caring individuals, almost to a fault, where we let it cost us money. We let stuff happen on projects, and instead of showing that we care, we just tend to hoard all of that in and let it cost us. If you really, really care, and I'm going to challenge you on this, is it's not always your fault. When things go sideways, it's okay to care, show that you care, but sometimes stuff just has to change. Think about that. Maybe we're over caring and we're disguising it as like pissed offness. But what we do is we really care too much. I mean, I've seen it. I watched projects become non-profitable because we cared about the client more than we actually cared about our company. Or we cared about, what we do puts food on the table. Think about that for our families. Like, maybe we need to care not as much, but in a different way. Maybe we need to care more for ourselves. And maybe we just need to present ourselves that we do care. I think this is a great question to ask ourselves, especially as you're driving down the road right now. It's a great one. Do you over care? Or do you not care enough? There's something in that for you. I can feel it. I can feel there's amazing things that you're going to figure out from that. Go check out everything that Nicole's doing. Make sure you connect with all of our fantastic partners. And until next time, be the champion you were meant to be.
Tired of losing track of promising leads? Struggling to convert inquiries into contracts? Build 12 is your solution. Over 30 years of industry expertise tailored for contractors ensures seamless lead management and nurturing. Boost your closing rate with ease. Experience the efficiency today. Download Build 12 and supercharge your business growth. Don't wait. Act now.
Is communication chaos holding your construction business back? Emails, texts, and generic tools weren't built for your business. BuilderComms delivers a platform built for construction. Fully branded, custom workflows, and seamless integration, all designed to fix communication for good. From our free forever plan to your own custom solution, we make construction software not suck. Ready to transform your business? Book your free strategy call today.
Unlock the potential of property intelligence with HomeTrack. In seconds, generate over 250 data points from a single address using advanced imaging and public data. Streamline property assessments efficiently, saving both time and resources. Enhance your decision-making today. Experience the future of property insights. Engage with HomeTrack now.